Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hello there.
Hey, Miriam, how you doing?
Doing wonderful. Thank you.
How is everyone tonight?
Fine, and you?
Yes, I'm here. I'm good.
Getting colder.
Yes,
I
it is.
know.
Every teacher in Hummel is going, oh boy. I'm like, don't hold your breath. Right?
Are we live? I will call the regular meeting for February the 9th, 2021 to order. Some members of the city council may participate via telephone or video conference. A quorum may or may not be physically present in the city council chambers. Texas Government Code 551.127A-2. Citizens wishing to make comments should email mcparks80@gmail.com, mcparks80@gmail.com. Citizens' comments received prior to the meeting adjourned will be read to the council. If everybody please rise for a moment of silence, followed by pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
First item on the agenda is consent agenda, reading of the minutes of previous meetings. January 5th, 2021 work session meeting, January 12th, 2021 regular meeting, and then financial reports, January 2021. I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve the consent agenda as read.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Do you have anything you need to go over, Susan? Okay, anybody have any questions?
Yes, I wanted to know on the check register, what is the charge for $5,000 for Bruce Lowry Chevrolet?
Yes, ma'am. That was a repair to one of our vehicles, and that is actually covered by TML. It will be offset as a budget amendment.
Okay.
It's covered. It's just a repair.
What kind of repair do we have?
Which one?
That was, we have two claims out right now, so I can't tell you exactly which one.
It's gonna be one of the police cars. One of them received a dent on the side from the trailer. The other one was rear-ended on the freeway coming back from Alex's funeral.
Okay.
So it's one of those two. Both are covered by TML
Both of
insurance.
them will be covered, so,
I was just curious. I hadn't heard of anything, so.
yeah.
Do we have any other questions? Would you poll the council?
Place one,
Aye.
place two,
Aye.
place three,
Aye.
place four,
Aye.
5,
Aye.
place 6.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Next item is discussion items. Item 1 is presentation of the annual report. Item number 21066.
Good evening, everybody.
Hey.
I hope everybody received the annual report. We had those distributed yesterday. I hope that you've had an opportunity to at least skim through it, if nothing else. I know there hasn't been a whole lot of opportunity to read through it, but just wanted to answer any questions that you may have about the report and make sure that you all received it.
What was the cost?
For the report itself,
Yes.
just paper and materials. We built those in-house.
Okay, great.
Yes, ma'am.
It was very, very nice.
Yes, I agree. I really enjoyed it as well.
Good deal. A few things to highlight in there. I think one of the most notable changes this year is actually going to be our crime rate. If you haven't had an opportunity to look at the crime statistics, take a look at those. I was floored when I saw it at the improvements within our crime rate and the number of burglaries and things we've had. There's also all kinds of things just to kind of recap for the year on what all has occurred, what all the city's done, and then various awards and promotions in there as well from the staff.
I'd like to add maybe one thing to include for next year.
Absolutely.
Maybe list your city council members.
Okay. We can do that. We are coming up to on getting ready to present CIP to you, the capital improvement plan. And that'll be kind of a similar format to the budget, to the annual report, professional document, and of course, all council members, planning and zoning members and so forth will be listed in those. But we can certainly do that.
Any other discussion? Okay, we'll move on to item 2 is potential traffic pattern change to Wichita Street, North Ray Street, item number 21065.
I'm going to share my screen with you real quick. As we start to talk about different projects, last week we talked about potential food truck ordinance, and we are moving forward with that. We have a lot of development happening in and around our park with the Civic Center, Memorial Park. We have some roads that we're getting ready to address. Of those roads that we're addressing, one of those is Race Street. The other one is Wichita Street. Wichita is in need of a crack fill and reseal on that road to maintain it properly. This isn't going to be a rebuild of the road, but it's going to need a crack fill and reseal just to maintain it, to keep it up to par. Race Street is in need of either an overlay or a rebuild. So as we're addressing these issues and getting ready to talk about doing some work on these roads, we've talked for a little while about a potential traffic pattern change within emergency services. And I wanted to present that idea to you all tonight to get your feedback and see how you felt about it. The idea that we have is changing Race Street from Trammell to Bell and Wichita into a one-way street northbound, and then converting Wichita from Bell Street to Trammell into a one-way southbound. This would create almost a loop type effect around our park. And it would also allow us to come in and stripe parallel style parking all the way around our park to increase our parking capacity. One of the reasons why we've talked about it on the emergency services side is because of the number of traffic accidents that we have at this intersection of Wichita, Race, and Bell Street. We get so many collisions that come right through here because of vehicles either not stopping or checking for traffic or getting confused. We would actually eliminate the stop sign here on Race Street, and this would allow the traffic to flow nonstop northbound and nonstop southbound. The only traffic that would be stopping would be the traffic on Bell Street. We can discuss either the potential of forcing that traffic to go north from here, which would be the safest alternative, or allowing a safer crossing over to Wichita. But since we're getting ready to talk about redoing these streets, I wanted to bring this up to council and receive your feedback and input on it.
Was
Not a bad idea.
of the one that we discussed doing before?
Christopher was a part of the one, was on the list that we were supposed to do before. So when we took out when the city took out the 2013 bond fund, Christopher was the next street that's on there that hasn't been done.
Right.
However, because of cost increase in materials and things, there's only $40-something thousand left in that bond fund. There's not enough there to do Christopher Drive. As we've assessed the streets, we're looking at Christopher and we're looking at Race Street. And Race Street, all the way from Shelby Road to Bell, needs a complete rebuild. It's in very bad shape. Christopher isn't in as bad of a shape. So we're trying to assess, with those funds left over, what could we offset and what could we achieve with the $40,000 that's left over in those funds. We did check today. The bond was not written in such a way to where those funds have to be allocated to Christopher. They just have to be allocated towards street improvements. So we have funds left within the 2013 bond fund that we could allocate towards street repair, in addition to our street fund tax that we have.
Okay, are we still going to be doing any patching here and there though through the city? Like, for potholes and stuff that,
Yes, they actively do patching right now.
okay, they are.
Yes, they are.
Okay,
Is that a question?
thank you.
They do. We are working on increasing the quality of those patches and getting those better.
Okay, all right, I understand.
Okay.
So the island at that intersection is going to be taken out?
Yes, the island would be removed. Since traffic would be one-way southbound, there wouldn't be a need for it to have the protection here from coming north. And we would actually be able to put parking all along the side of the park, all the way up and down. So we could add 150 plus parking spaces all around our park.
Now, how are we going to address that when we, if and when we make the move on this to prevent cars, get everybody used to sticking one way or the other? Unless it needs a head-on collision.
Yeah, we're going to have to, we are going to have to really do a good job at public notices, advising the public, signage previously. We've talked about, Greg has actually recommended possibly putting in maybe those plastic barriers that stand up in the middle of the road that are typically temporary. They're there for like a year or so, just to allow people to get used to the traffic transition over. But if a vehicle hits them, it's not going to destroy the vehicle or cause any injury. They're plastic. So if somebody runs over it, it's not going to cause any damage.
Something, or you got, somebody's gonna stand out there and point, you know?
And the
Because
emergency
that's gonna be
sign as
hard.
well.
That's gonna be hard to get used to.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to do a very good job about posting signage and public education and so forth before we do this. This would be probably late into this year when we start looking to do this. If council chooses to go this route because of timeline with county, we're going to need the county to come in and assist us with doing the overlay and the road construction, signage and things. And there will be planning and engineering involved to make it happen, and then restriping.
How would you safely go from Bell to southbound Wichita?
Just the same way that you would right now. I mean, you just have to watch for traffic all the way around.
There's no safe way.
Yeah, this is
That's a horrible intersection. This doesn't correct that.
no. The only way to correct it would be to only allow traffic coming off of Bell to go northbound on Race. That would be the only way to safely do that.
Are we looking at removing that island on Bell Street also?
Yes,
Okay, remove both of them.
remove both of them.
Okay.
So if this is not gonna really help the situation as far as Bell,
Where
Well-
most of our accidents that we get are actually from vehicles coming up onto Wichita. They go to make a left-hand
Right.
turn onto Wichita, and the vehicles coming southbound are turning onto Race. That is probably 90% of our accidents is this Wichita to Race conversion. They don't realize that there's no stop sign here. So this would eliminate those accidents that we get there. We don't get too many of them where they're crossing over Bell onto Wichita. I think because there's enough sightline that they see it coming, so they're able to stop and avoid it. I'm not saying it's not a dangerous situation. It still is.
Yeah, 'cause usually people are speeding through that
Yeah, but
intersection.
we don't get as many of those accidents. Almost every accident that we work over there is due to a vehicle turning left or continuing north onto Wichita around this little island here while these vehicles are trying to turn onto Race Street.
so if we put.
How many accidents have you had in a year?
No, I didn't run those. Yeah, I didn't run those numbers, but
I've never, in 4 years, I've never worked one coming from the Bell side, ever, has it come from that side.
we get a couple a month.
I've been
A couple
close
of
to 50 a few
accidents?
times.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
But like you said too, we could also come in on Bell and make that a right turn only.
Yes, we could. We
And
could
that
force
would
that traffic to go
alleviate that
north,
problem.
to go north. And that way, if they needed to come south, you're talking about 3 to 4 homes. If they needed to come south, they could utilize Hamsbarger or one of the other side
Yeah.
streets or divert back to Roy C. Brooks and go that way.
What would be what's the cost? Do you know? Have you checked into it?
I don't know. The cost is going to be a little bit more than just redoing the road, but the additional cost would be striping, removing the island. We're talking maybe $40,000-$50,000 somewhere in that ballpark. If this is a concept that council approves and wants to move forward with, and we would work with our engineers to draft actual plans. This is a cute drawing I just came up with in paint. This is my artwork, so it's not engineer's artwork. So we would get an engineer to actually draw it up, draft it appropriately, do a cost estimate, just like we would with any normal road. But before we go through all of that and spend the funds to have an engineer do that, I wanted to run the concept idea by council first.
Okay, so this drawing is what you would want, the one way?
Yes, ma'am. One way
Okay.
northbound on Race Street and then one way southbound on Wichita. Correct.
Okay.
And just think of all of the events that we have planned at the parks and the, with the food trucks and all, adding additional parking could be beneficial. And this would allow for that.
Are you looking for a consensus tonight
Yes.
from council?
Yeah, just a consensus. If everybody likes this concept and idea, I'll move forward with drafting it as a real concept and present it back to council again when we're ready to move forward.
Do we have any other questions?
Yes, you said we have 40,000-ish that we're not going to use that was earmarked earlier for Christopher. So we're going to use that 40,000. Did you just say it's going to take an additional 40,000?
It possible for restriping, yes. Over and above what it would normally cost. I can tell you to redo this section of race, we're looking at $175,000 just for a rebuild of the road. That's likely what it's going to be just to redo the road as it is.
But the county's going to help us. We're not footing that whole 175, right?
No, that's going to be the cost of the material. The county helps us by providing us the free labor. That's just the cost of material. Material has at least quadrupled over the last 5 years since we've taken that 2013 bond fund. So the 2013 bond fund estimates are no longer accurate for current road construction cost.
Okay, where are we going to get $130,000 to add to our 40?
That's where we would pull from the street fund tax that we have. We have roughly just under $600,000 in street fund tax right now.
Okay. My next thing is not a question, it's a comment. The people that live on that little block of Trammell are going to hate us. Just thought I'd mention that. Okay.
Why do you say that? I'm just
Well,
asking.
if we're making a triangle out of this, so they're going to be coming south on Wichita. They'll turn left to go across Trammell
Oh, I see
and
what you're saying.
turn left to get back on Race. And that's a lot of traffic.
Or they could go down Royce Brooks.
Yes.
Or you can go through traffic on Trammell and push them down.
We could push them down. We could push them down to Enon if we wanted to, and put no through traffic here and enforce that.
And then we have the.
Well, they'll just make sure they understand they have two options.
Yep.
That's a nice little residential street. They are not going to be happy.
He better just hit one of the side streets. Come back.
Good, yeah.
People just have to get accustomed to taking.
Yeah, they're going to take the shortest route.
Pretty much the idea that we're kind of running with when we talk about doing this is turning this almost into it's not a square, but a city square type environment with parking along it in our parks where we're investing a lot of money in currently.
Oh, I like it.
Well, one thing we're going to see too, the people are going to head on Wichita Street, but then they're going to cut across the football field. When we get the community center in, if there's road going all the way through, they're going to be cutting across there.
Yeah.
So
And we'll have to enforce
we're going
that.
to see a lot more traffic.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
we may have to end up having to address that at some point.
Yep.
So. We have any questions?
No,
Did everybody concur with moving forward on this project?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. That good enough, Craig?
That's good enough for me.
All right, we will move forward.
Yeah, parking over there is always trouble in the park.
Okay, next item 3 is 2021 proposed Everman water rates.
You want to do this one? As y'all know, when Mr. Gunderson was here, he talked significantly about the need to increase our water rates. Our water rates are significantly lower when you compare them to like-sized cities. We talked about the plan. He talked about the plan going forward of raising our water rates each year as we address these little by little. So we're coming up on that time again. Our last water rate increase was in March of last year. So we're going to be proposing in March at the regular meeting to increase the water rates. The base rate increase will be $2.50. And then the base rate sewer will be an increase of $2.50. So a $5 increase overall, just like we did last time.
And why are we increasing it?
Why are we increasing it? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Because our water rates are so significantly lower than like-sized cities, we have got to keep up with our revenue as much as we're keeping up with our expenditures. Our expenditures are ever increasing, and we have got to keep our revenue up to match that.
Our expenditures to do what?
General operations, just everything. So water is the largest. Yes, we are seeing savings.
Right.
But one thing to keep in mind, again, without I don't want to get political, but one thing to keep in mind is we are looking at significant increases in minimum wage that are going to adversely affect this city. So we have got to try to stay ahead of the curve.
And that's actually not being addressed in this model here.
Yeah.
It will need to increase again at
Our-
that time.
Our salaries are below par for like-sized cities. Our revenue is well below par for like-sized cities. Our water rates are below par for like-sized cities. We've fallen behind the curve, and we're trying to play catch-up.
Okay, now other life-size cities are their how do I say this? Income and everything is what, twice, 3 times what ours is?
Are you talking median income?
Yes.
I mean, it's gonna vary if we want to start comparing actual city to city. I can start doing that if you'd like me to, and put together.
Well, I mean, that sounds like what you're already doing when you're comparing, but what I'm saying is some cities that are the same size as us, their medium is 2-3 times, maybe even 4 times the size of ours.
That would just vary depending on the city.
Yeah,
We'd have to-
what we do is when we do the survey, we go through TML. So TML does salary surveys, they do water rate surveys, sewer rate surveys, and that's what we compare to see what like-sized cities are operating at. And we are below all of them when it comes to water rates.
And when was the last water rate increase?
Last March.
Okay.
It was effective with the April billing. Of last year.
Need to.
Yeah, I mean, we've been told this was gonna be a yearly thing.
Yeah, and that's why he broke it down to the 250. He did it in increments to make it a little easier to digest, so not to slap a bill $10 more every month.
Well, for the most part, with the sewage part of it, that goes to Fort Worth anyway. So,
And that goes up every year also.
yeah,
A lot.
I mean, I agree, we need to stay ahead of the curve, so, instead of falling further and further behind, so. But when are you,
Next month.
Yeah,
Next month?
we propose this next
Yeah,
month for
I was just
council to
bringing
vote
it
on.
up. Just
Okay.
to-
does anybody have any more questions on that?
Just one comparison, because I just pulled up the note from TML. This year, most cities have made an average increase of 3.82% on their water rates and an average increase of 14.73% on their sewer rates, wastewater.
Wow.
That's likely due to an increase in wastewater fees and things going to the state.
So even with us going up to 250 on each, we're still falling further behind.
Yes.
We just don't want to shock everybody yet.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so,
If you search TML water survey, you can pull it up. It's always on their website. You can pull up their water rate surveys and they'll give you the averages for like-sized cities. I can start researching what cities and do some comparisons if you would like, but we're well below the par for all cities.
We've always been well below the par.
I think
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
primarily based on population, but,
Mhm.
I mean, we could drive down on that to see exactly, median income, but
well, unfortunately,
regardless, we're still.
this is like everything else. We've gone so long that now we're having to hit it regularly just to try to catch up.
Yeah, but we didn't have a tax base hardly either, until.
Yeah.
last
But we
year.
went years where we didn't make any adjustments to
That's
it, and we're paying the price now. So,
Yes.
okay, any other discussion?
No.
Okay, we'll move on to new business, consideration possible action. Item 1, consideration approval of a memorial mural for fallen officer Alex Arango on the southern wall of the Public Works Building, item number 21062.
The family reached out because an artist reached out to them in a desire to paint a mural for Alex on a building here in Everman. This is the same artist who painted Officer Zamaripa's mural. I attached that photo there for you so you can get a reference of what type of mural we're looking at. Officer Zamaripa was one of the Dallas Five that was shot and killed. He was actually from Fort Worth, so this is painted on a building over in Fort Worth that he frequented. So he had reached out and asked if he could do something similar here in Everman. We kind of took a look around to see what buildings might be the most appropriate. When we took a look at the Public Works building right there next to the library, that was a perfect spot for it. So I wanted to propose to council to allow this artist to come in and paint this mural on the south side of that building that faces Race and Enon intersection.
I'll entertain a motion.
Oh, we're going to make a motion on this?
Yes, it's consideration and possible action.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve 21062 as read.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Now we can open it up for discussion.
Okay. I don't want to sound like the big bad meanie, but I need to say this. I think, I loved Alex, Officer Arango, so don't take this the wrong way. But I really think that a wall size painting mural is just garish. It's ostentatious. It's a little overdone. I mean, we're working on the Memorial Park. I just feel like that would be a better place. Again, I'm saying this, don't take it personally. He was not shot and killed in action. It was a COVID thing. And I'm not belittling a COVID death. I'm not belittling his death at all. It just seems like a mural for this specific kind of a death is just over the top. And that's just the way I feel about it. I think putting something in the Memorial Park that we're building would be a better idea. It wouldn't be quite as garish. Everybody in the town loves him, absolutely. And if it passes, it passes. But I just feel that it's just a little too much. That's my comment.
Any other questions, comments?
I do just want to add, the reason why we brought it to being a potential city building was because they're going to reach out to business owners and try to put it on one of the buildings on a business. It's likely this mural is gonna be put up somewhere. So we were trying to put it in a location that was best suited for something like that.
Does it have to be the entire wall? I mean, that just seems like in your face. And then again, this is just me and I'm looking at the picture, the size of the wall.
It's a city wall, so I mean you can determine the size if you choose to keep it there.
But that's the end of the building too. It's not a huge wall.
No,
It's
in the library parking lot. I mean,
basically the size of a garage or something, right?
It's a large wall and you drive by it when you drive past the front of the library. It's in your face.
Yeah.
Are we going to be able to have any say on what the mural will look like?
I don't think so, but it's not going to be anything inappropriate or graffiti style. That's why I attached that sample there for you to take a look at.
Could we possibly see a picture of the one that he's going to draw? Would that help, Susan?
Of course it would, but I still think a wall size mural is just, it's too much. And I understand the family wants this and we're probably going to wind up with it. And again, I don't want anybody to think this is personal against Officer Arango, because that's not it at all. It's the fact that it's a gigantic mural on the side of a building. It's just too much is where I'm coming from. Yes, we would definitely like to see what it's going to look like. If it's going to be on a city wall, I think we should have something to say about what it looks like.
Just to clarify, you know we're talking about the south side of the building, so it's the side of the building That's
It's right
facing
there by the
library.
genealogy. Yeah,
Yeah, not the side that faces Ray Street.
right. It faces south and you drive past it and you look at it as you're driving past the front of the library. I know where it is.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. That's
It's
all.
going to be gigantic in your face. And it's just going to feel cheap.
We can always ask him to scale it down a little bit, so it won't be huge. I mean,
I think he would be embarrassed at this. That's just me. That's just me.
Could he do something for the Memorial Park? Some type of painting, whatever, in the park?
I think the park needs to be this.
What, Judy?
I think the Memorial Park should be the same type of whatever we decide to do, or everyone be the same.
Yeah, uniform.
Not something special just because this person or this person,
No. I agree. I
Yeah.
totally agree. However, I think that because he died, that kind of a thing would be best memorialized in the Memorial Park.
Well, there's ways to do that. There could be a bench or something in remembrance of him, or, I've seen that at other locations.
Exactly.
There's things that can be done at the Memorial Park, so.
I think we just have to be kind of careful, and it's not that I'm against it either. I think it's wonderful that we can have a mural for someone that was very important in our city, but as we allow something like this, we have to think about someone else as well, someone else that's important in our city as well. And if that takes place and they would want to do a mural too, we would have to allow that as well. So I don't think it's nothing wrong, as long as, we approve if it's going to be small. And if somebody else wants to do something like that too, with something that happens to one of our important city members, in a tragic way, that we allow for that to happen for them as well. So I think we really have to consider, opening that door and how it's going to be, because it's going to occur later with someone else maybe. And are we going to allow the same thing? I mean, so we really have to think about all of that.
We're setting a precedence.
Well, the concern would be if I go to a business, how big is that going to be?
And then you have.
Well, I think that if a business allows them, that's their personal business. I mean, that is their personal desire. It's their business. They decide what they want to put on there. I mean, I suppose.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I kind of like the idea myself. I've seen some of these things before, and
We
I
can
would
probably
think it
do.
might bring people into our city, but I don't want it to become a vigil either, and they're doing candlelight vigils there all the time either.
No, we can control that.
I think it'd be nice if we just do the wall. If we did it with the city, did the wall and did it at a certain size. And then if we ever had to do anything like that again, we'd have space to put someone else there as well. Like I'm saying, it's not just going to be this one time occurrence. It could happen again. And there's a lot of people left in the community or in the city that would probably want to do something like that. And so we have to just be open to everything, to everyone, if we're going to allow something like this.
Well, I think with this one, we can justify it because it is considered line of duty death of one of our police officers. And God forbid, I hope it never happens again.
Amen.
So, but occasionally these things do happen. So when they draw a lot of attention. So.
And line of duty death would be in the Memorial Park. I just think something like this is just going to be really garish. We're going to have a downtown Fort Worth mural splashed across the side of a building. And it doesn't matter, what I'm saying is it doesn't matter who it's for or what's on it. It's just a great big huge mural. It happens to be for Alex, but it's a great big huge mural, and it just does not feel like that is an Everman thing.
But it doesn't have to be a huge mural, and we don't have to always say it's not an Everman thing. I mean, things in Everman have to change. So I think that if it's something adequate and not to the full wall, I mean, it's totally up to, all of us to make that decision. But yes, we can't stay in the mind that it's not an Everman thing, because there's a lot of things that are going to change in Everman that were never Everman thing. And like I said, it's just something that we have to be very sensitive to about allowing other people to do something like that. That, yes, God forbid, nothing like that ever happens in the line of duty. But if it did, and somebody else would want to do the same thing, we could probably do it right next to Alex's mural. You see what I mean? I mean, something like that, something decent size that is available to somebody else if something needed to happen like that again.
We have any other discussion? Okay, so we have a motion to approve item number 21062. There's no more discussion. We'll poll the council.
Place 1,
Aye.
place 2,
No.
place 2,
Wait, that's Kelly.
Yeah, I
aye.
don't know who answered no for
Place
me.
3,
This is Johnny. I said I in wrong place.
What's your answer, Johnny?
I'm sorry, no.
place 4,
No.
place 5,
Aye.
place 6,
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye.
motion carried.
Okay, item 2, consideration and action to approve ordinance number 766, an ordinance calling a special election to be held in the city of Everman, Texas on May 1st, 2021, to submit a proposition on the reauthorization of the local sales and use tax at the rate of 1/4 of 1% to continue providing revenue for maintenance and repair of municipal streets, making a provision for the conduct of such election, approving a joint election with Tarrant County, resolving other matters incident and related to such elections, and an effective date. Item number 21064. I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve ordinance 766 as read.
I second.
Motion made and seconded. Craig, you want to elaborate on this any, or?
Yeah, this is just the calling for the election. So Mindy's been working on this one. Don't ask me where we're going to have it yet, because we don't know.
Possibly the 9th grade center is probably going to do the polling.
Yeah, we're working on making those arrangements. So next month, we're going to come back with a contract, correct, to council to approve?
They said by March.
Yeah.
So
So in March, we'll come back with a contract to approve. At that point, we'll know exactly where the location is, but we have to get the ordinance taken care of for the calling of the election this month.
And what is this for?
It's the street repair tax, the street tax.
Yep.
We
Yeah,
do it every
Or
5 years.
We have to vote for it every 4 years.
4.
And if we don't vote on it, then it goes by the wayside.
And this helps pay for our street repairs.
Correct.
Correct.
Any other discussion? You poll the council.
place 1,
Aye.
I
place 3,
I.
place 4,
Aye.
place 5, place 6,
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye.
motion carried.
Okay, item 3, consideration and action to approve budget amendments as presented by the Everman Finance Director, item number 21067.
make a motion to approve items number 20167.
21067. A second for 21067.
Okay. So motion been made and seconded. Let's go ahead and
He's
open
sharing,
discussion.
he's sharing the screen. So if you have any questions, there's not a whole lot on there today, but
Okay, and what is the $1,000? It said the annual cost of the newsletter.
Yes, ma'am. That's going to be the increase we talked about last week. Hang on just a second.
So it's just $1,000.
This year, because we are going to do the one-page front and back necessary information only for the remainder of this year. And then next year, we're going to do the full-blown newsletter. So we will look to increase that budget next year as we do it. There's only 2 quarters left for the newsletter within this budget. So it's only going to cost us $1,000 for the remainder of this budget to do it. Next year, we'll probably look to increase that $3,500, $4,000 next year.
Okay, you say for one page?
Front and back, yes, ma'am. Yeah, this will be.
That's quarterly. It will be sent out with the water bill 2
It's
more
just the-
times during this fiscal year.
It's just the short and sweet stuff, Johnny. Next fiscal year, we'll have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 4-page, 1, 2, 3, 4, however many. The one that we used to get.
Right.
Yes.
Next fiscal year.
We could discuss how much you want to add to that next time during budget season. But this is just to cover the expenses for the remainder of this year.
Okay, and the 43,000 is for the new truck that he discussed on last week.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it's the truck conversion. It's not a purchase of a new truck. It's just going to be the truck conversion, converting our rescue truck to an attack truck that'll serve many purposes, and utilizing the funds that were made, the proceeds that were made from selling the brush truck.
Taking the revenue and moving it over so that we can use it for expenses on the change of the vehicle.
Okay, I have a comment. Going forward, when large deposits are made like this, could we be made aware? I mean, I know you said it went to the general fund in December.
Yes, ma'am.
But could you let us know when that's going in? And why is it just now going in February? Why not January?
No, it's dated today. The budget amendment will be dated today.
No. I mean, when it went in the general fund
the funds were deposited back in December. They've been sitting in the general fund. Now we're allocating it so that we can use those funds to pay for the expenses that we're going to have on the truck.
Okay.
Yeah. And we actually have an auction. We're going live starting tomorrow. So next month, I should have an update on the financials. I've already made that change. So I will be notifying anytime we have any auctions or a large amount of money will be reflected in the financials so that it stands out.
Okay, where do you normally post the auctions? Because I know I saw one some time ago, but.
Yes, we use Lone Star Auctioneers.
Right, and that's a Star Telegram?
No, it's an online auction site. And we do vehicles, excess equipment. They take anything, so it's not just vehicles. Like when we have old office equipment, you could sell a pallet of old computer screens or whatever. So, yeah.
Any other discussion on the budget amendments? Would you poll the council?
Place 1,
Aye.
place 2,
Aye.
place 3,
Aye.
place 4,
Aye.
place 5,
Aye.
place 6,
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye.
motion carried.
Okay, item 7, executive session pursuant to section 551.071, chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. Council reserves the right to convene into executive sessions from time to time as deemed necessary during this meeting to receive advice from its attorney on any posted agenda item as permitted by law. Additionally, council may convene into executive session to discuss the following: pending and contemplated litigation or to seek the advice of city attorney pursuant to section 551.071, discussion regarding possible purchase, sale, exchange, lease, or value of real property pursuant to section 551.072, Item C, personnel matters pursuant to section 551074. Item 1, board and commission members, item number 21063. So we're going into executive session. Everybody just hold loose till Benny gets